I want to point out that at least in the West and probably universally, human beings, when they go to war, tend to dehumanize the other population. And, so of course, calling the other population subhuman, vermin, whatever it is that human beings do. And my concern is that we are doing exactly this with the Nazis or de facto Nazis who are showing up on our screens at this point. That what we are doing is we are comforting ourselves by saying, well, that's a small outbreak of something that makes these people subhuman, justifies punching them or whatever. And I'm not squeamish about there being a right to violence when somebody is threatening a way of life. So it's not that. But my concern is that if you take the pathogen model and you imagine that all those folks who showed up in Charlottesville, that is a contagion and it needs to be isolated, then you will have the sense that as long as you do that, it's not going to show up somewhere else. Whereas what's, I think, the actual hazard is that that's actually a latent program that has served populations in past circumstances. It's indefensible, but it has served populations, and the populations that we come from have it, therefore, on reserve. And when certain characteristics show up in the environment, that program can emerge. And so my concern is that that's where we are in history.
Right. It can't be isolated as a phenomenon that's associated with the other.
Right.
And one of the things I've done for decades is teach my students a variant of that, which is something like, because I try to walk them through psychological understanding of what happened in Nazi Germany and in the more intense situations, like in places like in Auschwitz. So the question might be, well, if you were in Germany in the 1930s, could you be a concentration camp guard? And the gut reaction to that is, no, those people are unlike me. And that's the wrong response. The right response is, those people were human and I'm also human. And so that means that the Nazi is us. That's what it means. And so, and who the hell wants to think that? And no one will think that. And I have thought that through, because I thought through, for a variety of reasons, what the limits of my potential behavior are. And the limits of my potential, and maybe I'm more pathological than the average person, it's certainly possible, but I understand that the limits of my potential behavior are far beyond the bounds of what people would normally consider civilized. And I think that's characteristic of human beings in general.